Welcome back to the Basement Movie Room. We're here to now review the 2002 film Equilibrium, starring Christian Bale, Taye Diggs, and Sean Bean. Can't forget Sean Bean. Don't forget Sean Bean. And directed by Kurt Wimmer, who is pretty well known as a writer and I think does some stunt work and stuff like that.
Guy, right?
Yeah. So Equilibrium is basically Fahrenheit 451.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you, somebody owes Ray Bradbury some money from this.
Yeah.
Also, some notes. It's similar for The Giver. If you read that book in school, that was a Caldecott Award winner book. I really love that book. It was made into a movie a few years ago with Jeff Bridges. But it shares some Fahrenheit 451 and The Giver stuff. So Fahrenheit 451 is and the movie was made on that one a couple years ago as well with Michael B. Jordan. It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So
definitely watch this over that.
Basically, what's happening in Equilibrium? We're in a future society in which pretty much anything that causes emotion has been banned, and everybody's on a emotion suppressant pill
serum.
Yeah, they have to take it every day.
Yeah.
If they don't take it, they can be jailed. So Christian Bale,
incinerated.
Yeah, Christian Bale and Sean Bean are members of the Grammatine Clerics.
Yes.
Those are the people who enforce this rule of no having books, paintings, things like that. Nothing that can make you feel anything. Father thinks that this makes society better. There's no war, no anything like that. So the movie opens up with Bale and Bean in this raid, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
And you get your first taste of gun kata, which Kurt Wimmer developed for this movie. Essentially, it's a style of guns, and you can see
it's kind of before John Wick.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool, and it's This is post Matrix.
Yeah.
Matrix '99.
I mean,
so
I don't think the Matrix did this type of style. I mean, everybody kind of compares the styles to Matrix around that.
No, it didn't.
But
it didn't have that.
This is a different type of style.
This is gun kata. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Christian Bale has the big scene where he runs and slides on a door and takes out all these guys, and clearly it looks. If you really look at it, it looks really stupid. To be honest, it's like he would definitely have died.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool ultimately if you kind of take your brain, close your brain off and take it for what it is. So,
suspend your
disbelief. So he takes these people out, and you see that they've discovered the Mona Lisa and they burn it all. So that's the Fahrenheit 451 connection.
Yeah.
They're burning all art, all books, everything. Nothing that can open your mind and get you to think differently from the collective. You get views of William Fichtner is in this movie. You get one panning shot where William Fichtner is in it. It's I recognize that guy. Clearly he's going to be a character later in the movie. And you also get an indication that Sean Bean may not be completely sure about what their job is at this point. So, because he has a book. I can't remember what the book was that he has. It was William Keats. It was Keats. It was poems by William Keats. That's what it is. Now I remember.
Yeah, because he
so Christian Bale sees him with the book, and he says, "Oh, I'm just taking this to have it destroyed myself." And clearly, at this point, Sean Bean is compromised, and that he's not taking his medicine, and that he's understanding more about what these rebels who are into things. So ultimately, Christian Bale has to take out Sean Bean. Sean Bean dies in this movie. Spoiler alert! But who would have thought that Sean Bean would die?
Probably an audition
for England, James. So
been dying forever.
So he takes him out, and he gets a new partner played by Tyrese Gibson. Yeah. No, not Tyrese. Taye Diggs. Taye Diggs. I get those guys mixed up all the time. I really get them mixed up. Tyrese, Fast and Furious. Taye Diggs, model guy. Other movies. Taye Diggs. So Christian Bale starts questioning his reality and stops taking his medicine. He has 2 kids. His wife was taken away some time ago. It's never really clear how long ago his wife was taken away because she stopped taking his medicine. So she's gone. She was executed.
And supposedly the kids turned in.
The kids, yeah.
The wife.
Supposedly. I think that's kind of the indication is that the kids turned in the wife.
It's not very clear.
Yeah. So he stops taking his medicine.
It's not very clear to the cleric.
Cleric. He stops taking his medicine. We're introduced also to the head of the Grammaton clerics, who's played by Angus MacFayden. Robert the Bruce. Angus MacFayden. Robert the Bruce. Which is what I call him every time I see him. I mean, it's Robert the Bruce. Yeah. Which he was in a movie a couple years ago, Robert the Bruce, which is like a pseudo sequel to Braveheart, and it's supposedly absolutely fucking terrible. So, Angus MacFayden plays the head, and you get kind of this indication that they're suspecting that Christian Bale is becoming like more aware of what's going on here, and that maybe he may be a problem. So Taye Diggs constantly is like right on him. I mean, you get Taye Diggs' character has no chill. No. He like you clearly know that he's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So Christian Bale ends up meeting Emily Watson, who is Sean Bean's girlfriend. We come to find out, and she's a violator of like having books and not taking her medicine, and like he almost forms a romantic relationship with her in prison while she's in prison, and she ultimately gets incinerated.
Yeah,
but
it's a very odd.
He's off his medicine, and he tries to save her, but he can't. And there's this whole scene where he goes out, and there's puppies, and he doesn't want the puppies to die. Yeah. It's very sad. Puppies dying is the worst. I mean, there's dogs dying in this movie. They don't show it on screen, but you hear it, and it's terrible. Like, you don't kill a dog in a movie. Damn you, Kurt Wimmer. So ultimately,
golden retriever.
Yeah, they kill lots of them. It's so sad, so sad. So ultimately, they figure out Christian Bale's off thing, and him and Taye Diggs have a showdown where he fights Taye Diggs and he kills Taye Diggs, and then he goes in after Angus MacFayden's character, the head of the Grammaton, and he's basically like, what we're doing here is wrong, and Angus MacFayden's clearly never been on the medicine. These guys, these leaders are like corrupt as hell. Yeah. They're just after power. They're keeping the people down to keep their power, and we get the ultimate face slice. Yep. He slices Angus. It's Angus MacFayden's face, right?
There is a pretty good twist that happens before all that. That you
go into it. I probably we watched it a couple weeks ago.
So Taye Diggs wants Christian Bale to kill certain people that they found with art and all that.
Yeah, Fichtner. It's Fichtner's character. And, I forgot about that.
And they switch guns.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, that's right.
And he
there's like a gun thing.
And he was like, "No, you should kill him." And he gave him his gun or whatever. They switched guns, and so ended up killing him. Blah blah blah. Came out that Christian Bale. They found out that he was not taking his medicine. Blah blah blah, and he was feeling.
Yeah.
And they took him before Robert the Bruce.
Keep calling that.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name in the movie.
And yeah, at that point you're like, oh, he's done. There's gonna be a big fight right here. And instead you forget that they switched guns, and he turned the tides on Taye Diggs.
He frames Taye Diggs.
Taye Diggs to where he got arrested.
Yeah.
And taken off.
But ultimately we discovered that nobody fell for that.
Yeah, nobody fell for
that. Yeah, it was kind of a waste of time, to be honest.
At the time it's like, oh, okay, cool. But then it's like 5 minutes later it was like,
yeah.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Yeah. So that was a cool twist, but they didn't play it out like it should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately we figure out that father, who all these people are following, has been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not made super clear. He's just fake. Yeah. And that Angus MacFayden's character was essentially leading this whole society, and that it's all a sham. Essentially, it's just a power grab. Is all it is. So, Chris, I don't know that I can't remember if we get we get any resolution to the whole thing. It's just Christian Bale and his kids, and ultimately we figure out his kids are not taking their medicine for a long time since their mother disappeared.
Yeah.
And that the dog, the little puppy survives as well.
They were going to turn him in.
Yeah.
And Bale thought his kids were going to turn him in.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't. He knew his oldest son knew where he was stashing his medicine. Which
and they were investigating him, and the oldest son took him away.
Yeah,
basically.
So,
and I assume he didn't flush him because they probably have sensors or something on that.
True.
But I mean, ultimately, he takes down the main guy. But there's no indication of what actually happens to the world after that. I guess we get no ultimate indication of that.
Just goes into chaos.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie. I mean, I enjoy this movie a lot. I remember watching it years ago, and I was a big fan of Kurt Wimmer until Ultraviolet came out. That's a steaming pile of garbage. So, look at it. It's right there on the screen.
Yeah, it is right there.
That's a piece of shit. Do not watch that movie. I do not walk out of theaters, but I almost walked out of Ultraviolet. And the only reason I went to see it is because Kurt Wimmer directed it, and I almost walked out of that damn movie.
You went and saw it in theaters?
Yeah, I did.
Man. Yeah,
Malco Cinema in Cordova, Tennessee is where I went to see it. Yeah. I remember going to see it, and I almost walked out. Yeah. But nonetheless, Equilibrium, good debut
for
Kurt
fun.
Wimmer. I don't know if he's done much since, to be honest. Other than Ultraviolet, I don't know.
But the fight scene with Christian Bale and Taye Diggs was
it's a great fight scene.
Yeah.
It's all very good. I mean, it's a good movie. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like a must watch, but
it's fun.
If you're into kind of like sci-fi and Matrix-y type stuff, this is definitely like out of the Matrix clones that came out in the few years after the Matrix. This is one of the better ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bale is great in it. Bale's great in everything.
Almost a predecessor to the Wick type of.
Yeah, it has the gunplay. Yeah. Gunplay, definitely John Wick. Chad Stahelski and the other guy who directed those movies are clearly, familiar with this movie. I think because like the all the double gun and
lots of Matrix. So.
Yeah, lots of Matrix stuff. I mean, it's clearly a Matrix clone, but it's one of the better ones. You got tons of Matrix clones in the few years after Matrix.
Acting's really good.
Yeah, acting's good in this. Like Bale's good, Bean's good. MacFayden's good. Taye Diggs is good. Emily Watson, she's good in everything, but she's good in this. And even his kids are pretty good.
The leader of the underground.
Oh, Fichtner.
Yeah,
William Fichtner.
Yeah. He's good.
He's good in everything too. He's one of those actors like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah. He's had some bigger roles. He's had smaller roles. This is a good role for him. But it's all very good. Yeah. I cannot say I wouldn't recommend this movie. I'd recommend this movie to anybody who likes kind of like a sci-fi. Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451 is one of my favorite books as well. So anything and I still haven't seen the HBO movie because they say it's terrible. Yeah, but this is probably the best adaptation of Fahrenheit 451.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah. Like Bradbury's Martian Chronicles and Fahrenheit 451 is like two of my favorite books. Like I was really into Bradbury in high school. I read all his books, and those are great books. And this is a good adaptation of that. It's not perfect. And then The Giver was one of my favorite books in like middle school. I read that in middle school. So
it's a good.
Yeah, and The Giver is like those pills that they take. That's from The Giver basically, where it dulls all your senses. You see in black and white.
Fahrenheit 451 is a mindset.
Yeah. Fahrenheit 451 is burning books.
Yeah.
Giver is like that pill where you have no emotions.
Yeah.
So, and I don't remember any soundtrack to this. There's not really much. It's kind of like a generic techno.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, not much to that. Yeah. There's no Hans Zimmer doing the soundtrack.
God. Yeah. It gets better the more I listen to it. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's for another day.
That's another day. All right, so let's go to rating. I'll let you go first since I went first last time.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It kind of resonated with me. I would give it like a 3.8.
That makes sense, because I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's like classically...
Can't quite give it a 4.
Yeah, I don't think it's classically a 4.
Yeah, I do love this movie.
It's like probably in the 3.5 zone, really.
Yeah.
but I really enjoy it, and I think Bale's performance elevates it a
Oh,
bit
yeah.
for me because he's really good.
I don't know who else you could put in that role at that time.
I mean, this is only a few years before Batman Begins, too.
Right.
I mean, this is like before Bale really. I mean, Bale was in stuff. Obviously,
Psycho.
like Empire of the Sun when he was young.
Well, yeah. American Psycho was what, 99?
It was somewhere in there because that's the reason I watched this movie because
Yeah.
Bale.
Because
I
Bale,
love American
and then
Psycho.
this, and then Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Empire of the Sun. He was a kid.
Yeah. So this,
might,
this
have
is
might have to check that one out. We'll put it on here.
yeah. This is worth watching though.
Yeah.
You should check it out. All right. Thanks for watching Basement Movie Room. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.